Hello, everyone. We now begin week number 4 or module number 4. Time really does go fast in these courses. I have graded your first two self-assessment journals, including the one that was due last night. Overall, you're doing a really good job on these. Some of you are going way beyond the call of duty. I appreciate it. You're giving me, great insights, and I learn from you as well as hopefully you learning from this course. Speaking of the self-assessment journals, I'm going to change the focus starting with this week just a little bit. I know we've been saying, describe 2 or 3 things that you learned, and then describe things that you wish you could know more about, and those are fine, but I want to shift the focus to have you tell us about your understanding of the learning as it relates to the module learning objectives, because frankly, if we're not on track in giving you material that meets those objectives, we're missing the mark and we need to make adjustments. So I really want to make that a major emphasis in future self-assessment journals. This week you've got a lot to do. Your literature review is due Sunday night by 11:59 p.m. I added a folder in the Module 4 content called Literature Review Examples, and I attached a few articles that I've written. One was peer-reviewed and published in a journal. The other was presented at a conference. And there's literature review sections in each of those. While the topic in those articles doesn't really relate to financial management per se, the idea is to give you an idea of what a literature review looks like. And when you do your lit review, you need to make sure it flows along with the categories and themes. For example, if you are talking about literature you found that involves very distressed cities or counties on the verge of bankruptcy, you'd want to group that literature together. In contrast, if you find literature talking about what cities do really well to sustain economic and fiscal health, you'd want to group those articles together so it flows and that it's not choppy. Other than that, literature reviews are fairly easy to do. You need to cite your sources and do a reference list, do everything in accordance with APA guidelines, and should be fine. You also have another self-assessment journal and public financial management exercise to do. So this is somewhat of a heavy week. Next week is a bit lighter. I encourage you to attend the Zoom session tonight at 6 p.m. That's going to be done live from here on campus. I'm actually going to sit with the course designer to make sure that everything is working well and gets recorded. I've had, and other professors have had, trouble with the Zoom recordings working in a remote location, and that is fortunately not a fault of the professors. I've found out that there were a lot of technological glitches in terms of how it was set up last year. So to avoid that pitfall and avoid any camera failure I may have, which was the case for our first scheduled Zoom session that got canceled, I'm just going to do them right here on campus, and that should provide for a more meaningful exercise. With that, I hope to see you at 6 p.m. Tonight, and have a great week. Take care.